We live in this incredible age of jets and instant communication, right? It's so easy to feel like the physical world, well, that it just doesn't matter as much anymore. We hear it all the time. The world is flat. But what if that's not just wrong, but a dangerous illusion? What if the mountains, the rivers, the plains, what if they still hold the keys to our destiny? Today, we're going to dig into this really powerful idea that geography isn't just relevant, it's taking its revenge. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle that popular idea of a flat world. Then, we'll uncover an older, almost forgotten way of thinking that totally flips that idea on its head. We'll use the map to really understand conflict, power, and the future of nations, including what's happening right here at home. This quote from a driver in northern Iraq is the perfect place to start. I mean, think about it. The official political map, the lines drawn by governments, said this was all one country, Iraq. But the relief map, the actual physical landscape of mountains and plains, well, it told a completely different story, a much, much older story. It was a story of two totally distinct peoples, separated by the earth itself. So, how in the world did we come to forget about the mountains and the plains? Well, after the Cold War wrapped up, this very compelling, really optimistic story took hold. And it basically suggested that geography was becoming a thing of the past. We were all told the world was flattening, that technology and liberal democracy were just going to erase all those old divisions. The fall of the Berlin Wall felt like more than just the end of an empire, didn't it? It seemed like the beginning of a new borderless era. But this super idealistic vision just completely glossed over the stubborn realities on the ground. Things like ancient ethnic hatreds and the simple physical fact that a mountain range is still a mountain range. You can't just wish that away. And ignoring those realities, well, it led to some pretty major miscalculations and surprises on the world stage. That's exactly why we need to recover a way of thinking about time and space that's kind of been lost. A sensibility that was championed by some thinkers who, for a while, were seen as decidedly out of fashion. And here's the crucial point. Our belief in this connected, flat world, it actually made us blind. We just stopped seeing the very things that have always shaped human history, the physical earth, the climate, the sheer distance between places. And we failed to see how they continue to divide us, right now. So, let's try on a new pair of glasses, shall we? These thinkers, they offer a framework for seeing the world not as we wish it were, but as it actually is. And it all starts with a tough, clear-eyed concept called realism. Now, realism isn't about being a pessimist. It's about being brutally honest. It suggests that underneath all our lofty ideals, the world basically operates in a state of nature, where nations are driven by fear and self-interest. It strips everything down to one single fundamental question of power. Who can do what to whom? And this is where that realist thinking leads us, straight to the map. But not as a symbol of our shared planet, oh no. It's the ultimate visual aid for our divisions. It's the stark, spatial representation of where one group's power ends and another's begins. Okay, so let's see how this actually plays out on the ground. Because when you start to look at the world through this realist lens, you start to see exactly how geography takes its revenge on anyone who dares to ignore its power. Think about it like this. Geography deals every nation a hand of cards at birth. Are you an island or are you landlocked? Are you protected by huge mountains or totally exposed on a flat plain? These factors aren't just trivia for a game show. They can literally set a nation on a path towards security and wealth, or one of constant conflict and struggle. And what's so fascinating is how these abstract factors create such concrete destinies. Take Russia. It's got no natural borders to its west. That helps explain centuries of paranoia and expansionism. Then you have Great Britain, an island. That status protected it, which allowed it to focus all its power outward. Now, geography isn't everything, of course, but it is the stage on which all of history unfolds. Okay, but this all sounds like a reality for other countries, right? For centuries, America seemed like the great exception to the rule. I mean, it's blessed with two giant oceans as moats, basically, protecting it from the world's troubles. But is that still true today? So while America's attention has been focused thousands of miles away, a truly monumental geographical story has been unfolding much, much closer to home, right on its own southern border. The sheer numbers here are just staggering. I mean, to put this in perspective, since 1940, Mexico's population has increased more than fivefold. 5 times. that creates this immense demographic pressure. A geographical reality not of mountains or rivers, but of people and place, unfolding on a scale that is completely unlike anything in modern American history. And as the historian Arnold Toynbee warns us, these kinds of frontiers, they're never stable. When a powerful society stops expanding its influence, the pressure doesn't just stop, it actually begins to flow the other way. And that brings us to a final, really provocative thought. So as demographics and culture and economics continue to blur that line on the map, we're forced to ask a really fundamental question. Maybe the revenge of geography doesn't come to America in the form of some invading army, but as a slow, irreversible merging. It really leaves you wondering, what if the most powerful force shaping America's 21st century isn't an ocean away, but is actually right next door?